Thousands of years ago, strange beasts emerged from the black abyss and invaded the human world. Amidst the chaos, mysterious monuments appeared, offering humanity a glimmer of hope. These monuments granted people the power of classes, enabling them to resist the otherworldly threat. After countless battles and level-ups, humanity finally drove the beasts back into the abyss and reclaimed their lands. In honor of this victory, China established its provincial capital at the site of the 9 monuments. Since then, an annual awakening ceremony has been held to select new defenders of humanity from among high school students. Though peace returned, the black abyss remains active, and the threat of strange beasts still looms. The scene shifts to the monument branch in Lintian City, where the 53rd awakening ceremony is currently underway. A teacher stands before the students, addressing them with a solemn speech. He announces that the awakening ceremony is about to begin and explains that the monument will randomly assign a class to each student based on their innate talents. Whether it's a combat class or a life class, every student is expected to contribute to the nation's future. Among the students, excitement buzzes in the air. One expresses joy that after 18 years of hard work, it's finally time to awaken. Another eagerly hopes to receive the warrior class, dreaming of joining the union and earning an easy living. The first student chuckles, pointing out that becoming a warrior isn't easy. Only half the students at their school receive a combat class. A third student laughs, gesturing toward our MC Lin Tianhao, who is still sleeping. Another remarks that Tianhao is the school's most well-known poor student, and getting any decent class would be nothing short of a miracle. The first student mocks him further, saying a sewerage beast masterclass would suit him well. Standing nearby, Lin Tianhao hears everything but remains silent. Deep in thought, he reflects on finally reaching the awakening ceremony and wonders what class he will receive. Just then, the first student puts a hand on his shoulder and casually asks what class he's aiming for. Tianhao calmly replies that he's aiming for an S-level talent or a hidden class. His answer draws immediate laughter from the nearby students. The first student mocks him, amused that someone with the lowest rank dreams so high. Another doubts he'll even receive a life class, while a third recalls that Tianhao's previous potential rating was just a C. Despite their ridicule, Tianhao stays hopeful. He knows his ratings are low but believes in miracles. If time travel can exist, then maybe fate can change too. All he truly wishes for is a good class. The teacher calls up the next group, students from Class 2 of Lintian City's first school, to come forward. Wang Dong is called first. As he walks past Tianhao, he glares at him with disdain, thinking someone like Tianhao doesn't deserve to be here. The teacher instructs Wang Dong to place his hand on the monument's wall and wait patiently for about 5 seconds. A bright light soon radiates from the monument, signaling the successful awakening. Wang Dong receives the warrior class. Though excited, Wang Dong's smile dims slightly upon seeing his talent rating, C level. Still, the teacher hands him his certificate and reassures him that C level is still above average. She instructs him to report to the Lintian City Union Center for further guidance. Wang Dong nods and thanks her. Nearby, 2 girls cheer for him, admiring his stable warrior class. They plead with him to take them along on future dungeon runs. Proud and confident, Wang Dong walks past Tianhao and deliberately bumps into him. Acting surprised, he mocks Tianhao for even being present, calling him the class loser. Tianhao reflects on how Wang Dong has always bullied him. Now that he's a warrior, it might only get worse. Another student scolds Tianhao for bumping into their big brother without apologizing, while a third complains about his constant serious expression. Wang Dong, still in a good mood, dismisses the incident. He announces that the day is worth celebrating and offers to treat his group to a meal at the town pub. Tianhao quietly wonders how someone like Wang Dong could become a warrior. He questions what kind of class he himself will receive. The bullies continue mocking him, speculating on what kind of class the class loser might end up with. One declares he'll never be as good as their big brother. Another adds that no one really cares what Tianhao gets as long as they stick with Wang Dong. At last, the teacher calls Lin Tianhao to the stage. Raising his hand, he approaches the monument. Nervous but resolute, he hopes for any combat or support class. With a pounding heart, he places his hand on the wall. Suddenly, a blinding light bursts forth, surprising everyone present. Tianhao sees the glow and wonders if this is the moment his life begins to change. The teacher steps forward and speaks of destiny. She announces his class, Summoner. The students erupt into laughter. They mock the class, calling it trash. Though technically a combat class, they claim summoning is too costly to train and only produces mediocre results. In their eyes, it's even worse than a life class. To them, Tianhao is truly unlucky, and becoming a summoner has sealed his fate. Tianhao opens his system window and discovers the Abyss Lord system. This unique system grants a random SSS level Abyss talent every 10 levels. Realizing this, he notes that by reaching level 100, he will possess 10 SS level talents. The teacher hands him the SSS level talent extraction. Suddenly, a voice echoes. He has obtained the SSS level talent, Demon Sacrifice. This powerful ability allows him to sacrifice his HP upper limit to immediately level up a summon and demonize it. The demonized summon receives spirit power from hell and continues to gain experience and grow stronger through battle. Tianhao carefully considers the cost. As a summoner, he doesn't need to fight himself. As long as his summons are powerful, It's enough. He plans to use equipment later on to increase his HP upper limit. A system prompt appears, explaining that every 100 GP sacrificed increases a summons level by 1. With 1000 GP currently available, and needing at least 100 to survive, he concludes he can boost a summon to level 9 right from the start. Still, he reminds himself to proceed with caution. The teacher tries to encourage him, saying that even if his class seems useless, there are still many paths he can take. Tianhao thanks her, and expresses his belief that he can still change the world. She admires his conviction but remains skeptical. Nearby, a girl laughs and tells another student that a summoner should just go home and find a better future elsewhere. As Tianhao walks away, he questions whether being a summoner is truly that bad. But he makes a quiet promise to himself, to become a great summoner who stands at the top of the world. Later, Tianhao returns home. His sister greets him warmly and asks how the ceremony went and what class he received. He tells her he's a summoner. She immediately recognizes it as the class commonly seen as useless. Tianhao approaches her and gently dries her hair with her towel, confirming her assumption. She reassures him, telling him not to feel bad. She says that next year, she will awaken, become a mage, and protect him. Blushing slightly, Tianhao places the towel over her face. He tells her that her brother is a strong summoner and that she doesn't need to worry, she just needs to protect herself. She responds playfully, saying he's bullying her again. As he walks away, Tianhao tells her to give him some space and find something fun to do. He checks his phone and notices a message about a gathering. Unsure of what it means, he decides to think about it later. Inside the classroom, the teacher addressed the students, summarizing the results of their class classification ceremony. This time, 5 students had received combat classes, 8 had become mages, 11 had been assigned support roles, and only 1 had awakened as a summoner. Wang Dong laughed upon hearing this, ridiculing the lone summoner as a hopeless loser who had gained a useless class. His friend joined in, agreeing that life was practically over once someone became a summoner. The teacher turned to Tianhao, acknowledging his special situation. He handed Tianhao an introductory book on summoners, stating that it might help. Tianhao stepped forward and accepted the book, and the teacher reminded him to seek guidance if he faced any difficulties. Looking at the thick layer of dust on the book, Tianhao couldn't help but think that the summoner class must truly be worthless. The teacher then explained the real reason they had been called in. The school intended to collect specific data on all students who had awakened their classes. Other classes would be present too, so the teacher warned them not to embarrass him. Soon, all the students gathered in an open area outside. Another teacher stood before them announcing the start of the class talent test. A student stepped forward first, confidently using his power. After evaluation, the teacher declared a talent score of 73, acknowledging it as a solid result and encouraging him to keep working hard. Then came Wang Dong's turn. He unleashed a sword technique, which earned him 89 points, further boosting his confidence. Next, the teacher called Tianhao. As he walked forward, Tianhao remembered some basic summoning techniques he had seen in the book. Though he hadn't practiced them yet, he resolved to give it his best shot. Referring to the book, Tianhao began reciting a summoning incantation. A sudden gust of wind swept the area, surprising the teacher. Moments later, a slime emerged from the summoning circle. Tianhao was taken aback. The students immediately burst into laughter. They mocked the weak creature, joking about its uselessness and questioning how it could possibly fight monsters. To them, the slime wasn't even good enough to clean floors. Tianhao stared at the small creature in disbelief, realizing that this was indeed his summon. He checked its stats and noted the attack power was only 9 points, barely more than a tickle. But then, the teacher noticed something odd. The score displayed on the board initially showed 888. Everyone watched in confusion as it quickly dropped to just 9 points. The teacher looked disappointed and confirmed the final result. He approached Tianhao and tried to offer some encouragement, saying that 9 points was still better than nothing. Tianhao asked for another chance to try. The teacher allowed it. Opening his system window, Tianhao decided to use his talent skill. He activated Demon Sacrifice and chose to sacrifice 200 GP points. The other students laughed at his efforts, dismissing them as pointless and insisting nothing would change no matter how many times he tried. Unfazed, Tianhao executed the skill. The slime began to transform as demonic energy surged through its body. The students watched in shock as the creature evolved into a demonized slime. Tianhao commanded it to attack. The slime unleashed a powerful strike that damaged the testing machine. The crowd gasped, and even Tianhao was stunned when his score was revealed, 120 points. The moment Tianhao's score of 120 appeared, both the teacher and students were stunned. They couldn't believe their eyes. The lowest-ranked student had outperformed everyone. Even Wang Dong, with his 89 points, was now overshadowed. Wang Dong was in disbelief. He couldn't accept that Tianhao had scored higher than him. He recalled that even the Chinese god of war, Fang Changyun, had only scored 101 back then. For Tianhao to hit 120 was unimaginable. Unable to accept the result, Wang Dong suggested that Tianhao might have tampered with the machine during his second attempt. Other students quickly echoed this suspicion, pointing out that Tianhao had only scored 9 points initially, but somehow reached 120 afterward. The whole situation seemed suspicious. Tianhao silently acknowledged to himself that he had indeed interfered, but not with the machine. He had used his skill on the slime. The teacher admitted that the students made a fair point. Tianhao firmly stated that he hadn't cheated. The teacher walked over to inspect the machine carefully. After examining it, he announced that the machine had malfunctioned and confirmed that Tianhao did not cheat. Wang Dong, still refusing to accept reality, muttered to himself about the machine malfunctioning and questioned how someone like Tianhao could surpass him. He asked the teacher what should be done about Tianhao's score. Another student argued that Tianhao's real score was 9 since the machine had worked fine during the first attempt. The teacher decided that because the machine was damaged, Tianhao's results would be invalidated, and he would need to retest next time. Tianhao was surprised, realizing that the teacher had just given him another chance. However, the other students began to protest loudly. They argued that everyone had seen Tianhao score 9 points and demanded fairness, accusing the teacher of favoritism. Ignoring the protests, the teacher stood firm. He declared that the day's test was officially over. Students who hadn't been tested, including Tianhao, would have to wait until the machine was repaired. As one student tried to object further, Wang Dong glared at him, and the student fell silent. Wang Dong then approached Tianhao, insulting him again. He dismissed Tianhao's results and declared that he would always be trash. He told everyone to head to the first level of the Black Abyss, ignoring Tianhao completely. Tianhao recalled that the first level of the Black Abyss was a beginner's dungeon. He figured it was the perfect place to test out his demon slime. Soon, some workers arrived to repair the damaged testing machine. One of them wondered if it had been struck by a student, noting the intense force. They speculated whether the school had discovered another genius. As Tianhao walked away, an old man approached him. The man sensed great potential in Tianhao to become a summoner. Tianhao found the line oddly familiar. The old man then offered to sell a top-tier summoner staff for 300 gold coins. Tianhao was shocked at the price, considering the staff looked like nothing more than a broken stick. The old man insisted that he was only offering it for 300 because of a special connection. He claimed he wouldn't sell it even for 3,000 to anyone else. Looking at the staff, Tianhao sensed a strange power coming from it. Since summoner equipment was rare in this world and there was no summoner association, he decided to buy it. He agreed to purchase it. The old man asked for 300 gold coins. Tianhao checked his pouch and realized he only had 92. He tried negotiating for a discount, offering 92 gold coins. The old man accepted the 92 as a deposit, stating that this would reserve the staff exclusively for Tianhao. Tianhao was surprised to hear it was only a deposit. The old man explained that the 92 coins would ensure the staff wouldn't be sold to anyone else. If Tianhao wanted to claim the staff, he would need to venture into the deepest part of the first level of the Black Abyss maze and bring back a treasure. Tianhao wondered if it was too late to take back his words. The old man showed him a paper and said he'd recognize the treasure once he reached the maze's deepest point. He then grabbed Tianhao's hand and asked for his handprint. Tianhao was confused and frustrated by the sudden formality. After taking the handprint, the old man confirmed the agreement and told Tianhao to go ahead. As Tianhao left, a teacher approached the old man and addressed him as Elder Fang. The teacher informed him that the testing machine had broken down and the test had been terminated. He suggested that Elder Fang return for now. Elder Fang asked if the teacher knew Tianhao. The teacher replied that Tianhao was from his class, a poor child who had awakened the summoner class, a path that would make his future difficult. Elder Fang agreed, acknowledging that Tianhao's journey ahead would indeed be tough. At the entrance of the first level of the Black Abyss, a large group of students had gathered. Tianhao observed the place and confirmed that this was indeed the entrance. The first level of the Black Abyss was commonly known as the Cold Valley Abyss. It required a team of 3 to 5 people to enter. The level restriction ranged from 1 to 10. Anyone above this range would be removed by the supervisor. The dungeon also had a strict requirement, a minimum of 3 members in a team. Realizing this, Tianhao understood he couldn't enter alone. He glanced at the Old Valley Abyss clearance ranking list. Anyone who ranked first at the end of the month would receive incredible rewards. Opening the system window, he checked the first place reward. The prize was the gold newbie breastplate, an excellent piece of equipment during the early stages. Motivated by this, he set his eyes on claiming the top spot. Just then, Gangdong approached from behind. He recognized Tianhao as the student who had scored 9 points in the test. Mocking him, he questioned why someone like him would even consider entering the first level of the Black Abyss. According to him, Tianhao wouldn't even last 10 seconds inside. Tianhao noticed them and realized it was the same group again. Wang Dong ridiculed him, questioning what a summoner was doing at the Black Abyss. He suggested Tianhao should just go back home. Tianhao calmly replied, stating it was none of their business. Zhou Dashan pointed out that entering the dungeon required a team of at least 3 people. He accused Tianhao of being arrogant and challenged him to try getting in. Wang Dong addressed the crowd, announcing that he was a C-level talent warrior and needed 2 E-level mages to form a team. People around immediately took notice. One student mentioned that they had heard about a C-level warrior. Another student expressed relief, believing a warrior could help them survive. Soon, everyone began asking Wang Dong to choose them. He started picking his teammates. His companions proudly told the others to follow closely. According to them, Big Brother Dong's strength was unmatched, and this time, he would be aiming for the top spot. Another student acknowledged that they were competing for first place in the fastest clearance ranking and stressed the need to keep up. Suddenly, a skeleton of a player was ejected from the dungeon's entrance. Everyone was shocked at the sight. Zhou Dashan, wearing a smile, warned the others to follow closely, stating that falling behind would lead to the same result. Wang Dong then gave the signal to move. The group entered the dungeon together. Watching them, Tianhao evaluated the situation. He knew those three weren't good people. The two teammates were unlikely to survive. Although death in this world wasn't permanent, the cost of resurrection was high. Therefore, finishing the dungeon alive was always the best choice. Some students nearby noticed Tianhao's stats. One of them pointed out that there was an S-level talent player present and suggested teaming up with him. Another student scoffed at the idea, questioning if the first one was blind. He pointed out that Tianhao was a summoner and that the S-level didn't mean much in that case. A third student admitted he had hoped to find someone strong to rely on but was disappointed. Calling Tianhao a weakling, he decided to wait a bit longer. Tianhao noticed a girl standing nearby. Her name was Li Shui. He identified her as an E-level bard. Unfortunately, to apply effective buffs to a team, a bard's talent needed to be at least D-level. Judging by her expression, it seemed like she had been waiting for days. He approached her and asked if she wanted to team up. Li Shui looked at him with surprise. An S-level talent. A summoner? Tianhao, with a gentle smile, extended his hand toward her. He explained that he wanted to compete in the rankings, but no one was willing to team up with him. He asked her again if she would join his team. Li Shui found it hard to believe that an S-level summoner wanted to compete for the rankings. It sounded impossible. But she thought it would be a shame to pass up the chance to team up with such a handsome guy. She agreed and shook his hand. Tianhao introduced himself. Li Shui did the same. He told her that once inside, he would handle clearing the monsters. She only needed to focus on protecting herself. Li Shui was pleasantly surprised. The idea that he would look after her made her happy. She promised to protect herself and not cause any trouble. Tianhao acknowledged her response and said they still needed to find one more person. Just then, Su Qinger arrived at the scene. The crowd lit up with excitement at her presence. Students rushed to invite her to their teams, promising to take damage and protect her. Qinger found the crowd annoying and dismissed them in her mind as nothing but trash. Tianhao recognized her. She was Su Qinger, the belle of the school. Qinger looked in his direction and remembered him. Lin Tianhao, the school's infamous loser. And now he had gotten the summoner class? A trash class summoner? She wondered what it would be like if she teamed up with him. Smiling suddenly, Qinger addressed Tianhao and announced that she was joining his team. The crowd around them was stunned. Even Tianhao was surprised and asked if she meant him. Qinger confirmed it. Students nearby began questioning her decision. Why would the school goddess join a useless summoners team? Tianhao thought to himself that he had no say in this. She forced her way in. Frustrated, Qinger shouted at the others, reminding them that she already had a team and told them to leave. Without waiting, she headed toward the dungeon. Tianhao quickly stopped her and asked why she wanted to join their team. Qinger explained that she wanted to compete in the rankings. She needed 2 accessories, and by leading the 2 of them to first place, no one would dare to look down on her again. Tianhao realized she was indirectly calling them trash. Qinger then looked back and ordered her new teammates to hurry up and follow her. Tianhao sighed. The team now had 2 women. Li Shui, still unsure, asked if it would really just be the 3 of them. Qinger responded that there was no one suitable to join for now. If either of them encountered danger, they should leave the battle and the team immediately. The trio finally stepped into the dungeon. Qinger observed their surroundings, noting that this must be the inside of the cold valley abyss. The atmosphere was harsh, and the biting cold was hard to ignore. Tianhao agreed and mentioned that the warm clothes he had bought earlier were now completely useless in this extreme environment. Li Shui, wanting to help, mentioned that she knew a low-level cold-resistant buff. She brought out her lyre and played a soft melody. As the tune echoed, a light aura surrounded the team, reducing the effect of the cold on their bodies. Qinger, noticing the effect, acknowledged that Li Shui was at least somewhat useful. Without wasting more time, the team began moving forward. Tianhao reminded them that since they were competing for the top spot, they needed to move quickly. Suddenly, a corrupted wandering wolf appeared in their path. Qinger identified it immediately. It was one of the low-level monsters native to the Cold Valley Abyss. Without hesitation, she activated her powers and advanced. For her, this was a perfect opportunity to practice. Tianhao watched her closely. Her transformation into a half-beast form confirmed his suspicion. It was the druid class. Qinger leaped toward the wolf, launching her attack without hesitation. Qinger eliminated the wolf in a single blow. Watching this, Tianhao wondered if her damage was scaling. He noticed that her claw attacks seemed to have a bleeding effect. Even Li Shui found Qinger's attack impressive. As a token of gratitude for the cold resistance buff, Qinger handed them some items, stating that she didn't like owing others. Li Shui politely declined the gesture, but Qinger simply nodded and urged them to keep moving. Soon, 3 more wolves appeared in their path. Without hesitation, Qinger rushed forward and defeated all 3 on her own. Though victorious, she admitted to herself that handling 3 at once was still a bit difficult. She reminded herself that she must get first place. Li Xue noticed Chinger's injuries and offered to cast a low-level healing spell, but Chinger declined, pointing out that such skills wouldn't restore much HP and advised her to save her mana. Instead, Chinger pulled out a healing potion and drank it, beginning to recover. The group continued onward. As they moved ahead, Chinger accidentally stepped on a magical circle. Instantly, bright lights began flashing around her. A zombie suddenly emerged and launched a hammer attack at her. She narrowly dodged it. This was a corrupted zombie, a level 4 elite monster. Seeing it, Chinger realized that she had unintentionally provoked an elite. Li Xue recognized it as a hidden elite monster and was shocked by its sudden appearance. Tianhao speculated that Chinger might have triggered it by killing too many corrupted wandering wolves. The zombie advanced and struck at Chinger with its hammer. The impact sent her flying, leaving her in critical condition. Concerned, Li Xue turned to Tianhao, urging that they needed to save her. Just as the zombie was about to deliver another blow, Tianhao summoned his demon slime. As it appeared, Tianhao instructed it to use the skill Demonic Dance. The slime rushed in and intercepted the zombie's hammer attack, taking the hit against the ground. The zombie looked around, confused, realizing that Chinger was no longer there. The slime had managed to rescue her just in time and brought her to Tianhao. Tianhao quickly told Li Xue to take Chinger to the nearby treatment zone, while he handled the elite zombie himself. The zombie charged again, swinging its hammer. Tianhao commanded his slime to use the skill Slime Spit. The slime leapt into the air and began to unleash its attack. The slime's Slime Spit attack directly hit the zombie. Right after, Tianhao commanded it to use Demonic Dance. The zombie countered with a strong swing of its hammer, tossing the slime aside. Tianhao realized the elite's defense was too high, allowing them to deal only 50% damage. They needed a new strategy. Suddenly, the zombie began reacting strangely. Tianhao noticed that the slime could melt its body. Taking advantage of this, he ordered the slime to use Demonic Dance and Corrosive Slime to target the ankles. Following the command, the slime launched its attack, striking the zombie's ankles and causing it to fall to the ground. Meanwhile, Li Xue used her lyre to heal Chinger. Watching Tianhao fight, Chinger thought to herself that he was incredibly strong. She observed that the zombie's lower body defense was weaker than the upper. Tianhao instructed the slime to attack the zombie's legs. The slime leapt into the air and unleashed a slime spit attack, covering the zombie's legs completely. The corrosive effect began melting the zombie's body, and soon, the elite monster was defeated. Tianhao received 120 EXP points and leveled up from 1 to 2. He was surprised at the amount of EXP, thinking it might be due to killing a higher-level enemy. Li Xue was shocked by the outcome and wondered aloud how a summoner could be that powerful. Chinger responded that it wasn't the class, but Tianhao himself who was strong. In her thoughts, she acknowledged his intelligence, judgment, and raw strength, realizing how terrifyingly capable he truly was. Tianhao approached Chinger and asked about her condition. She brushed it off, saying it was a minor injury and nothing to worry about. Li Xue expressed concern that her chanting was too slow to restore HP effectively and suggested they rest. Chinger, however, insisted that they couldn't afford to rest if they wanted to compete for the top spot. She claimed she was still able to fight and began standing up. Tianhao reminded her that rankings wouldn't matter if she lost her life. Hearing this, Chinger reconsidered and agreed to take a break. Tianhao mentioned that the map showed a nearby cave where they could rest for the night. The group entered the cave and started a fire. Tianhao told them to rest while he went on patrol. Li Xue, exhausted from using too much mana, said she needed rest and instantly fell asleep. Tianhao then turned to Chinger and told her to rest as well, saying he would look around outside. Chinger stopped him, thanked him for saving her, and turned away shyly. Embarrassed, she told him not to read too much into it, claimed she wasn't ungrateful, and quickly lay down to sleep, asking him to pretend she hadn't said anything. As Tianhao walked out, he muttered to himself, amused by the arrogant girl's attitude. Outside the cave, he reflected on his recent fight, noting that he had just defeated a monster and reached level 3. Checking his stats, he smiled with satisfaction, seeing clear improvements. Tianhao examined his newly unlocked skill, Fully Armored, and found it impressive. He noted that it worked like an amplification buff. With 400 GP gained, he realized he could now level up his slime to level 4. However, he also understood that to raise his HP limit further, he'd need to explore other methods. Without wasting time, Tianhao upgraded his slime's level, pushing it all the way to level 7. Along with the level boost, the slime also acquired a new skill, Split. Tianhao reviewed the changes, seeing that overall stats had improved and a new ability had been added. He wondered whether the clone created by Split would be any different from the original slime. To test it out, he called the slime forward and instructed it to activate the Split skill. The slime quickly obeyed, duplicating itself into 2 identical versions. Upon checking the stats of both slimes, Tianhao noticed that their HP was halved, agility had increased, and defense had decreased. However, he wasn't sure how long the effect would last. Moments later, he discovered the duration was only 3 minutes. He questioned what could realistically be achieved in such a short time. Suddenly, a loud scream echoed from within the cave. Alarmed, Tianhao rushed inside to find a large monster standing before his teammates. Without hesitation, he ordered his slime to use the slime spit attack. The slime launched its spit at the monster, but it caused minimal damage. Shocked by the result, Tianhao realized just how ineffective the attack was. The slime continued its assault, but the monster remained unaffected. It approached the slime and delivered a powerful punch, sending it flying. Without pause, the monster attacked again, repeatedly striking the slime and dealing heavy damage. Reacting quickly, Tianhao ordered the slime to retreat and use demonic dance along with corrosive slime. The slime activated its skills and began moving swiftly to escape, but the monster gave chase with equally impressive speed. Seeing this, Li Shui questioned what kind of creature could move so fast. Qinger identified it as the most difficult monster in the Cold Valley Abyss, the giant snow rabbit. She explained that many teams had already fallen to it, and although they hadn't entered its territory, it was still attacking them. Li Shui noticed that the monster had dodged all of the slime's attacks and wondered if they should step in to help. At the same time, Tianhao realized that the demonic dance skill was still on cooldown, which wasn't a good sign. He immediately called the slime back. Before the slime could retreat, the monster landed a heavy punch on it. Seeing this, Li Shui ran toward the slime, determined to help. Qinger tried to stop her, but Li Shui didn't listen. She picked up a stone and threw it at the monster, yelling at it to chase her. The rabbit monster turned toward her, now visibly enraged. Alarmed by its gaze, Li Shui quickly pulled a carrot out of her bag and threw it at the monster. To everyone's surprise, the monster instantly calmed down and ate the carrot. Tianhao realized that the snow rabbit was simply hungry. Right after eating, the rabbit excitedly charged toward Li Shui. In response, she began running while throwing more carrots behind her to distract it. Tianhao, observing the situation, thought that they were nearly out of food and now had to lure the monster in for the kill. He called out to Li Shui and told her to throw her bag to Qinger. Surprised, Qinger questioned if she was really the one supposed to handle it. Still, Li Shui threw the bag in her direction, and Qinger caught it. Activating her powers, she asked Tianhao if he had a plan. He confirmed with confidence. Qinger leaped into the air, and Tianhao declared that he would be the one to kill the monster. Watching the rabbit's rapid movements, Qinger was shocked. She then asked for further instructions. Tianhao told her to lure the rabbit toward a specific spot. Understanding the plan, Qinger agreed. She held the bag in her mouth and started running to draw the monster's attention. The rabbit chased her, and as she approached a wall, she quickly moved aside. The monster crashed headfirst into the wall. Tianhao then turned to his slime and signaled its turn. The slime launched into the air and began using its spit attack on the stunned rabbit. Smiling, Tianhao revealed that the monster had fallen right into his trap. He instructed the demon slime to use both split and slime spit. Following the command, the slime duplicated itself, splitting into two. The rabbit monster, now dazed and confused, stared at the two slimes in shock. After the rabbit monster was defeated, a system window appeared in front of Tianhao, stating that he had killed the Cold Valley Abyss's giant snow rabbit. Tianhao reflected on how challenging the fight had been despite the enemy being just a level 8 snow rabbit. With his slime skills mainly focused on AoE attacks, the effect on single targets was too weak. He realized he would need a new strategy if such a situation happened again. Li Shui expressed relief that the snow rabbit was finally down, as she had feared for her life. Qinger confronted Tianhao, pointing out that he had used her as bait. Tianhao responded that she was the only one fast enough to dodge the rabbit, and Qinger accepted the reasoning. Qinger then turned to Li Shui in frustration, blaming her for bringing carrots into the abyss, which had led to them being chased by a rabbit. Li Shui explained that she brought the carrots as dry food. Qinger complained, questioning who would even want to eat carrots, and demanded that the carrots be thrown out. Tianhao then calculated that killing the snow rabbit had earned them 120 EXP, the highest among all the monsters they had encountered so far. If they could lure more snow rabbits to their location, they could level up quickly. To clear the Cold Valley Abyss, they needed to defeat the level 10 boss. For that, they had to reach at least level 4. At that moment, they were between level 2 and 3, meaning they had to kill at least 5 snow rabbits. Li Shui raised concerns about how hard it had been to defeat even one snow rabbit and wondered if they could lure them again. Tianhao assured her that last time they had been the prey, but now they would be the hunters. Qinger agreed with the plan. She was eager to climb the rankings and didn't have time to search for monsters. If the monsters could be drawn to them, it would be even better. They immediately started planning. Later, a snow rabbit was seen approaching a carrot lying on the ground. Tianhao and his teammates hid behind a rock, watching silently. As soon as the rabbit started eating the carrot, the trio emerged from behind the rock to launch their attack. 3 hours passed. After hunting several snow rabbits, the group successfully leveled up. A system notification then appeared in front of Tianhao, showing that they had spent 5 hours inside the Cold Valley Abyss. Li Shui commented on how fast they had reached level 4. Qinger acknowledged the speed and recalled that Fang Changyun had taken 8 hours to clear the same area. Li Shui wondered if they could break the top record. Qinger dismissed the idea as being too optimistic. The boss wouldn't just sit still and wait to be defeated. Tianhao agreed, stating that the guide mentioned the boss was a zombie leader who commanded corrupted wolves and undead creatures. While not particularly difficult, the fight would be a war of attrition and would take around 2 hours in their current condition. Li Shui asked what they should do next. Chinger suggested resting and preparing. Tianhao agreed and proposed a half-hour break. Inside the cave, while resting, Tianhao checked his system window. He noticed that the HP gained from leveling up was decreasing with each level. With no new skills and only minor stat improvements, he knew he needed to find another way forward after this. He hoped the upcoming boss fight wouldn't be too difficult. Suddenly they heard a sound from outside the cave. All 3 of them rushed out to investigate. Standing before them was a unicorn. Tianhao was stunned at the sight. It was the hidden boss of the Cold Valley Abyss, a level 10 unicorn. He felt incredibly lucky to encounter it, but quickly noticed that its stats were far superior to the original boss, the zombie leader. The unicorn launched an attack through its eyes, putting Tianhao under hypnosis. He began walking toward it, mesmerized by its beauty. At that moment, his slime bit him, snapping him out of the trance. Regaining clarity, Tianhao turned to the slime and questioned its action. At that moment, both Li Shui and Chinger had already fallen under the unicorn's hypnosis. They began walking unconsciously and were about to fall when Tianhao rushed over. Stepping onto the slime, he quickly grabbed both of them and pulled them to safety. As soon as they were moved aside, they regained consciousness. Chinger identified the creature as the hidden boss of Cold Valley Abyss, the unicorn, surprised that it had actually appeared. Li Shui questioned the situation, confused because the known boss of the Abyss was supposed to be the zombie leader, not a unicorn. Tianhao explained that the unicorn was a mythical creature known to protect all living beings, and it likely appeared because they had killed too many snow rabbits. Li Shui pointed out that they had also defeated numerous wandering wolves and zombies without any consequence, suggesting it might be because those creatures were not truly living beings. Chinger recalled that their original plan had been simple: just follow the guide, defeat monsters along the way, and clear the level by defeating the final boss, the zombie leader. However, by triggering the hidden boss, whose stats were significantly higher, their survival chances had dropped. She believed a wipeout was highly probable. Li Shui, on the verge of tears, expressed her fear of dying and wondered if they should run away. Tianhao dismissed the idea, stating that they had already killed too many snow rabbits and were now marked targets. Li Shui blamed herself for bringing the carrots, thinking that if they had only fought zombies, they wouldn't have encountered the hidden boss. She believed they were doomed because of it. Tianhao placed a hand on her shoulder and reassured her. Thanks to her, they had the chance to complete the level in half the usual time. Now, clearing the level depended only on defeating the boss. He promised to protect her during the fight with the hidden boss. Chinger, filled with determination, declared that it was just a unicorn and she wouldn't be afraid. She warned the others not to slow her down. Li Shui smiled with gratitude and thanked both of them. The unicorn let out a powerful roar, and all 3 of them prepared to fight. The unicorn then activated its skill, charging Thorn, and leaped into the air. Tianhao shouted for everyone to spread out. The unicorn came crashing down with a minor explosion, but the trio successfully dodged the attack. Next, the unicorn unleashed its soul-purifying song. A piercing sound rang through their ears, disorienting them. Li Shui responded by pulling out her lyre and began playing music to counter the effect. However, the unicorn launched another skill, Stomping Charge, and charged directly at her. Caught off guard, Li Shui panicked. Just in time, Chinger rushed in, grabbed the unicorn's horn, and struck it with her knee. She laughed and taunted the beast, provoking its anger. The unicorn roared furiously. Chinger landed to the side, but the unicorn immediately turned and advanced toward her again. Seeing this, Tianhao, filled with panic, warned Chinger to be careful.